So before I get started, I want to tell you a little. I was taking tickets. You all saw me taking tickets, so just checking what was going on. And I saw the parents come in with the two little kids, and I was like, ah! and they were like, well, our kid's not allowed. I'm like, well, it's all ages, but it's a little. And I kind of made a little bit of a noise. And so it was extra special for me to get them. As soon as Georgia said strap on, the dad looked at the mom, and they were out. But what's extra special for me is that not only did I get to watch the kids out, I got to watch the reaction of my department chair, and a bunch of my students are here. So Georgia, thank you. You know what? I can't get fired. I'm tenured, so doesn't matter. So look over there. Okay. He just looked at me and he's like, he mouthed at me. He's like, you can be fired, actually. Okay. Yeah, see, here we go. So, who am I? My name is Gregory Matthews. You can call me Dr. Gregory Matthews. I am as I mentioned, a tenured statistics professor. I won't say the school because let's just leave it out. Okay. So, what I usually do is I take the topic of the show and I do a data analysis on it, right? But the theme of the show is math, and today is Pi Day, so I wanted to talk tonight to you about pi. Just because I'm a statistics professor doesn't mean I don't love the math behind things like that, but because of things that I failed in math classes is why I became a statistician, right? What are statisticians if not just failed mathematicians, right? Okay, no, not woo. Oh, yes, woo, yes. Okay, so we're gonna talk about pi on Pi Day. So what is pi? Pi is the ratio of the circumference to the diameter. We all probably know this. And it's a very famous number. And it leads to these very famous formulas. Area is pi r squared, circumference is 2 pi r. These are formulas that you probably all remember from, I don't know, middle school, second grade, I don't know when it was. But what's so interesting about pi is that it shows up in all these crazy places. So if you take this sequence off to infinity, it's pi squared over 6. You get this kind of crazy expression, it's equal to pi over 2. This integral right here is equal to pi. This is crazy that it shows up in so many interesting places. And as a statistician, I love the normal curve. And what's so crazy about the normal curve, think about this. If you take any random variable and you start adding things up, it always approaches a normal distribution, which is fucking wild that somehow in the fabric of the universe, anything you start adding together approaches this normal distribution. Do you understand what I'm saying here? It doesn't matter what you start with, it'll always go into a normal distribution. It's in like the fabric of the universe, and the PDF, the function that creates this curve, has both a pi in it and an e in it. It feels like, whenever I think about this, I'm like on acid, right? This is crazy. This is drug stuff. Maybe you don't understand what I'm talking about. This is wild. Okay? So anyway, that's what pi is. These are my students right here, don't do acid. Do shrooms instead. It's much better, right? Yeah. I'm gonna get fired. So there's pi and e in it. That's pretty cool. So that's great. But have you ever heard of cosmic pi? Has anyone ever heard of cosmic pi before? Okay. Well then, you buckle up, because you're in for a ride. I am so excited to tell you about this. I've been getting these emails for years now, and I very rarely get to tell people about this, but I'm so excited. I don't know if you can tell how excited I am. I'm like wiggling, I'm so excited. I'm like a dog with, all right. Okay, so every once in a while, there's this guy who emails me, okay? So there's this guy who emails me. He goes to like math websites, he finds people's email addresses, and he just emails everyone who's in a math department, right? So it's this guy right here, his name is Sarva, I blacked out his email address. And so this is an email I got January 4th, 2020. It says, Dear Honorable Professors, Namaste. Here's the simplest way of deriving the true value of pi, and is for sharing. Okay? So I was like, as soon as I read this email, I was like, absolutely, I will open your attachment. So the intuitive derivation of the real pi, this is, by the way, he doesn't have just one proof or two proofs. This is number 538. This is the 538th proof of rho, which is what he calls this is the real pi, okay? So as you can see, we have, if I can just read this for a second, we have square circle, side diameter equals 1, diagonals root 2, two diagonals, 2 root 2, perimeter of the square, 4, perimeter of the cube, the constant is blah, blah, blah. So after all this picture, math happens, and well, I don't know, math happens, and then we get this right here, where, as you can see, pi is actually equal to 16 minus root 2 over 4. Okay, this is cosmic pi. Oh my God, you have no idea where this is going, and I'm so excited. You have no idea possibly where this could go, and it's just crazier than you can imagine. Okay, So that's cosmic pi. And so that's 16 minus root 2 over 4. So I was like, well, how close is this to pi? So this is actually 3.146. So what this guy is saying is that thousands of people over the years, the most brilliant minds over decades and, not decades, thousands of years, they're off in the third decimal of pi. The third decimal, that's what this guy is saying, okay? And he said this for 538 proofs. That was in 2020. Okay, so, well, no, so you said that, okay, I can address this. That it looks like a 16 minus root 2 over 4, but, and I swear to God this is true, I emailed him and I said, is it 16 minus root 2 over 4 or 14 minus root 2 over 4? It seems to be a conflict. And he said, no, sir, it's 14 minus root 2 over 4. And so I went and checked his proofs, and I've read more than this than I really want to admit, but that's how he writes his force. I'm very familiar with this guy's work. So, I legitimately, I was going to add it to the slides, but I thought I was leave it out, but I legitimately thought that was 16 root 2. It's not. It's 14 minus root 2 over 4. That's cosmic pi. Okay, so then I was like, I'm gonna email this guy back. Clearly this work is incorrect. So, but this is the first email he sent me, and I went to this guy's webpage, I found it, and I said, please mail me your book immediately, right? So, if you notice the timestamps here, this is like, he emailed me at 10:37, at 11 o'clock I was like, email me your book. 5 minutes later, he emailed me the book. So we're just sitting on opposite parts of the earth, emailing back and forth with each other. And so I was like, absolutely, I'll look at this. There's 85 pages in this book called Pi of the Circle. And I've obviously read all of them. And
It's volume 5.
who, what?
Volume 5.
Oh yes, it's volume 5, that's true. There are several volumes before this. So, there's 85 pages of this, and I was like, so who is this guy? And his name's here, or his email address, and I don't want to show that, but who is this guy really, and who better to prove all the great mathematicians better than a retired zoology lecturer? So I was like, oh, okay, now it's serious. I didn't believe it before, but this guy studied zoology. I took a zoology class in college, and it was fun. Rhodophyta, anyone? It's red algae, that's what causes red tide. That was money well spent, right? I remember that from zoology class. It was a pretty easy A. So anyway, in his dedication to the book, it says, dedicated humbly to Pythagorean Hippasus of Metapontum. Does anyone know who this is? Well, Pythagoras is a Pythagorean theorem, but does anyone know who Hippasus of Metapontum is? Does anyone know? No. Well, I'm happy to tell you. Legend has it that this guy was part of the Pythagorean group, and he proved that there were numbers that were not rational, and Pythagoras got so mad at him that he threw him out of a boat and he drowned at sea. And I Googled this, and I have an artist rendition that I actually found on Google, and if you don't understand it, here's it. That's Pythagoras with the beard throwing Metapontum Hippasus Metapontum overboard. Okay. Thank you, Ethan. Give him $57 instead of $50. Okay. So, just to give you the scale of this kind of thing, this is a collection of emails that I've received from this guy. There's something like 25 here or something like this. And you can see there's the 840th proof, whatever. I get a lot of emails from this guy, and so I'm like borderline obsessed with this guy. I like love this guy. So, I decided that I had to gently break it to him that the math is wrong, right? It's part of my duty as a math professor to, gently tell students, like when you guys are wrong, I gently tell you that that's not true. What I tell them in class is that the best way to learn is through shame, which is a little bit of a controversial pedagogical technique. Where's my chair? Oh, he's just steely-eyed. He's not laughing at all. Okay. So this guy emailed me, and I said, I have read every single one of your 608 proofs. They are all wrong. It's part of my job in the field to defend mathematics. So he responded with, "Dear, thank you." I said, "You are welcome," and that's where the conversation ended. That's where it ended, and I was like, all right, that's good. At least he knows that I don't think this is true. Okay, so I'd like to read you, because I've read all 681 proofs, I'd like to read you some of the highlights from this. So this is one of the recent emails he sent me. Albert Einstein combined space and time. As space-time, mass and energy is equals mc squared. Also, Sarva combined pi and Pythagoras' theorem, so he's now comparing himself to Einstein. We have this in one of the emails that he sent out, and I hereby humbly promise that my 19-year, 24-hour a day and night work, so he's claiming that he's working on, he's not sleeping. He's just proved the plot. And I mean, that's the only way to produce this much work. It's incredible. And then what I think this really might hammer home what's going on here. My work is basically intuitive based, and hence calculations in my mind are beyond well-known mathematical principles, and putting them on paper has become difficult. Yes, that makes complete sense, sir. And the last highlight I'd like to show you is this is the instant speed of an unknown radiation by which the creator travels. This is an article in a predatory journal where he is basically trying to do a thought experiment where he figures out how fast God is traveling. It's in a physics journal. Okay. What a journey we've been on. This can't possibly get any crazier. But what are the rules of comedy, right? If you're an expert in comedy, if you're at the top of the field, like myself, you know that you have to heighten. And this man must know the rules of comedy because he went and did this. He has a masterpiece, and I would like to read this proof into you in full. This is absolutely brilliant work right here. This is a real thing. I am not making any of this up. So he sent me this email, and it says, thousands of candles can be lit by a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared, and I would like to share with you to spread the happiness that this man brings to me. Here we go. God. This is the 840th proof of the Indian pie. Intrusion of Indian pie into relation between erected penis and body height. Good. If Georgia didn't get the family to leave, I would have. So it's great. Jesus Christ. So Medical News Today says that while sizes vary widely, the average length is probably between 12.9 and 13.97 centimeters, which is between 5.1 and 5.5 inches. As a statistician, I'm just going to say that I'm several standard deviations away from the mean, but I'm not going to say which direction. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. You know what, if I do get fired, this is a nice way to go out. In the following study, the Indian pie of the circle intrudes and finds height of the human body, taking the length of the erected genital organ, penis of man. Then here comes the math. From different blah blah blahs, the Indian pie is our old friend, 14 minus square root of 2 over 4, which looks like a 16. The length of the erected organ equals, out of nowhere, 3 pi minus 4. And then if that's true, what's the height of the human body? That's a great question, Sarva. So then he does this, and he finds that the height is 5.7 feet, and it just ends. That's it. There's a saying, this is immediately after this, there's a saying, God is a circle, its center is everywhere, thank God. And that's how the proof of the penis versus height ends. It just ends right there. You guys glad you came to this? You guys glad you came to the show? You're learning. This is educational. So what have we learned today? So pie is good, but cosmic pie is more fun. Happiness never decreases by being shared, and depending on how you order things, I'm above average. Ethan, you want to draw anything else? Follow the show. Follow the show on Instagram. You can follow me. I'm on, I forgot I'm on MySpace. Follow me on MySpace. I'm still on MySpace together. That's it. Get me off the stage. I can't talk about pieces anymore.
You guys all want to get 3.1 for 1 6 tattoos after this? That would go so hard. Okay, we're gonna keep it. It's almost too insane. Oh my God, Ethan.